Good morning. My name is Chris Rodriguez. I was a farm intern at It Green Morristown. I came to It Green Morristown with different intentions than most people might expect. It wasn't to study organic farming in itself, but instead to study the sustainable social structures that could arise from a community practice like organic farming, like they have at the urban farm. Um, I am a son of Cuban and Puerto Rican immigrants. In my grandparents' generation and my great-grandparents' generation, we have a lineage of farmers on both sides. Yet farming was always associated with economic exploitation and overly demanding physical labor. So I would receive stories like I would never go back to farming no matter what. And yet one thing that I noticed just from my position being over here and then looking at how traditions were lost over the generations is that farming, while it was economically exploitative in that context in the Caribbean, it did provide a lot of my family with family structures and a connection to land that we don't have anymore. So I wanted to see what that was like and if I could have an experience with farming that was different, right? Also, I am a 6-year English teacher in the New Jersey public schools. I had left in December 2020 to explore some different options. I always did community organizing, and I thought, what would community organizing look like on an urban farm or an organic farm like It Green Morristown? In my time at the farm with Farmer Sean and Farmer Marley, one of the things that I realized is that within the daily tasks, like something like thinning radishes, reorganizing the fridge, planting seedlings in the ground, removing entire rows of cucumbers and squash and then to plant something else. Within the daily tasks and the weekly tasks, the act of working with land in a safe, friendly, loving context generates all this lovely conversation and connection with the people that you're working with. One of my favorite things to see was the high school volunteers and looking at high school students outside of a classroom context, working with land and also with each other. One of the things I noticed was a lot more of an open-minded, open-heart nature with students than I would see in my classrooms. I'm very used to students being a little bit closed off. But when they come to the farm, they assume a maturity beyond their years, and they get access to an intergenerational space. It's not just teenagers with teenagers and one adult. It's teenagers with elderly volunteers as well, with adults, with younger children. And so this intergenerational space at the farm, this activity of collectively coming together to work with food, to work on the land, to produce food that is good for our bodies. It's done with soil regenerative practices. That activity in itself, the byproduct, or one of many byproducts, is deep connection with others. And seeing different events that It Green Morristown has done and how the community comes together and so easily says, well, I have this extra tool over here in my garage if you need to use this. I have this resource over here if you need this for the farm. I have this resource over here. I made this tomato sauce or this salsa with the tomatoes from the farm. Here you are. That kind of organic, sustainable structure arises from the farm itself. So while I didn't come exactly to learn how to be a farmer with the practices, which I learned a lot. I learned a lot because Farmer Sean and Farmer Marley are wonderful teachers. I did come and I did learn and I did see what healthy relationships, social networks can look like when it's based in good food, the land, and caring for one another. That was my experience at It Green, and no matter where I go moving forward, whether it's in a school or it's on a farm, I now see the importance of that.